to Stupid Ideas from Bad Creative, Season 2, Episode 5. This is the mid-season episode, so I made sure this was a good one. I'm joined by Sid. Hello, Sid.
Hey, everybody.
And this time we are looking at Choppy PP.
Oh,
Sid, before we get into everything, what do you think this
I'm,
one's about?
I'm just gonna leave now. Um, um, I'm thinking eggplant meets knife.
Almost. It's Hawk meets Katana. Alright, let's start. Sid, do you know who Venis is?
Yeah.
Yeah? What about Mr. Yamaguchi-san?
Nah, but he sounds like he's got a katana.
He does. What about Mrs. Yamaguchi-san?
Oh no, sounds like she's got a katana.
No, she doesn't. Well, she does.
Oh,
It might be a Velbroski, though. What about Dick Togo?
nah,
What about Funaki?
no.
Men's Taiho.
Men's who?
Men's Taiho.
Nah,
No. What
does that
about
sound like a type of male G-string?
what about Taka Michinoku?
Nah.
No. Well, all of those people have something to do with this episode.
hmm
Um, since you know who Velvetus is, do you want to tell me who Velvetus is?
Uh, he was involved in the last.
He wasn't involved.
No.
We just talked about him.
No, you just talked about him.
Yeah.
He has a nickname for his dong, dude.
Yes.
That's all I got, man.
So, what might this story be about?
Well, we've got a bunch of people with very Japanese sounding names,
They are all Japanese,
and
yes.
we've got a guy who has a nickname for his dong, and our episode today is called Choppy Pee Pee. Uh, yeah. I think our viewers can put two and two together
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
Yeah, so this is a storyline from 1998. Obviously, it's got Velvetus, it's got Kai and Tai, which is the name of the group that all the Japanese are in. So, it's more specifically got to do with Kai and Tai's manager, Mr. Yamaguchi-san's wife. So, what happens is that July 7th, 98, Velvetus attacked Dick Togo, Men's Taiho, Shofunaki, and Mr. Yamaguchi-san. He was attacked, actually. He didn't do the attacking. He was attacked. I missed the word was. Right? So Val Venus has a gimmick of a porn star.
Mm.
Right? And the next week, Venus and a woman had just had sex, and there's this video. And it turns out it may have been Mrs. Yamaguchi-san. So that may have pissed Mr. Yamaguchi-san off.
I mean, shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have.
Might have.
So next week, I think it might have actually, just based on what I'm reading. Next week, Mr. Yamaguchi-san attempts to punish Mrs. Yamaguchi-san by spanking her with a bat. But she's saved by Velvetus. So the next week, Kai and Tai bring a table, a sausage, and a sword out to the stage after Venus has a match. Mr. Yamaguchi-san proceeds to cut the sausage while proclaiming that he will choppy Val's pee-pee. After saying that...
Using those precise words?
Yes. He said, I choppy your pee-pee.
Okay, right. We have the derogatory Japanese accent, of course.
Yes,
Of course.
you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to. You absolutely have to.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, after saying that, Kai and Tai challenged Val to a match next week. And next week we get the match, which was Dick Togo and Funaki versus Val Venis. And the man who saved him from a post-match attack last week, Taka Michinoku. However, Taka turns on Val, joining Kai and Tai, and saying that Mr. Yamaguchi-san, Mrs. Yamaguchi-san, is his sister. Kai and Tai,
Ooh,
yeah. So yeah,
talk about putting your dick in the wrong spot.
yeah. So Taka Michinoku's sister is Mrs. Yamaguchi-san, so that makes Mr. Yamaguchi-san his brother-in-law.
Mm.
So they then take Val to the
Family.
back. Yeah. They take Val to the back and they seemingly chop off the big Valbrowski. However, as they do, John Wayne Bobbitt turns off the lights. Do you know who he is?
Wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, he's best known for having his cock cut off. This is a real life person who has had his cock cut off. By his missus, I'm pretty sure.
Ex-missus, hopefully.
I would assume so, yeah. So next week, Bobbitt wheels Val out to the stage in a wheelchair, and Val explains that Mr. Yamaguchi-san's sword narrowly missed his big Valbrowski due to the fact that it was a little bit chilly and he had some shrinkage.
I was about to say, because maybe the big Valbrowski isn't quite that big.
Yeah, no, there was shrinkage involved. He then breaks off his relationship with Mrs. Yamaguchi-san, and that ends the feud. We're done. That's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Oh no! That's so disappointing. I'm actually, as ridiculous as that was, I'm kind of cut, unintended, that it ended
Yeah,
so
out of the blue.
quickly.
Yeah,
Like, oh, you've stopped banging my wife? We good now.
yeah.
You know, I tried to cut off your dick, but we're fine now.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, that was it. So yeah, as bad as this storyline is, it's just one of
It
them
has
things.
flaws.
Yeah.
Was it funny? Like, did audiences enjoy this?
In the
Or
nineties,
was it just kind of weird?
no, they
Okay,
very enjoyed
because
it.
you know what, I can look, modern day, obviously very inappropriate at a number of points, but also like funny.
Yeah,
I'm seeing how it could have been quite entertaining.
yeah. Like obviously, take the fact that we're in the Attitude Era, and it's the nineties.
Yeah.
So yes, the crowd liked it. So yeah, obviously, what's wrong with this storyline is
Yeah.
it's an iconic story because it is. It's terrible, obviously, like we've pointed out. It's not a
Yeah.
good story.
Look,
It is enjoyable. And
for 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 yeah,
yeah,
for TV watched by thousands of people, a storyline about cutting off someone's dick is quintessentially not great. Like it's just like the bones of it. Mm-mm,
yeah.
mm-mm.
But it is fun, especially because it lasted for
Like
so little time, too.
yeah, I feel like it
Like,
definitely could have gone worse.
if they had dragged it out, that's,
Oof, mm-mm.
that would have been a bit. Also, a storyline about cutting somebody's dick off and you're going to drag it out, then you probably need them to lose their dick.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
so, and then you got to deal with that. But, yeah, right. Now, also another thing is that obviously this has racial overtones.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's very Japanese, Vince's take on Japanese. Right?
Which, you know,
you know,
mm-mm.
they've
Look, I'm
all
sure
got
in the
katanas.
90s,
Yeah.
in the 90s, I'm sure this went under fine, but
Nowadays,
it shouldn't. It
yeah,
shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. Yeah, as you were saying, the stereotype of katanas, as we already mentioned,
yeah,
the accent and like the disjointed English. Um, I'm sure there were some jokes made about honor and dishonor in there because that's a stereotype.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So now the thing is though is with race, WWE doesn't have the greatest track record when it comes to anything to do with that. I mean, we'll get into it next season because spoiler alert, I have sort of looked at next season.
mhm,
We will do Triple H and Booker T. Um, yes. So late '90s kind tie is yes, right. It's also a
mhm,
story about adultery, which um, is
mm,
apparently not very fun either. Um, I don't have experience with that, but you know, from what I know
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
um,
It's not great.
no, and I mean the feud didn't really help anyone because Kai and Tai, everybody except for Taka Michinoku and Funaki, left WWE after this.
Oh shit.
Val Venus didn't gain anything from it apart from a couple of weeks of dick jokes.
Just a
Um,
weird little storyline.
yeah, and I mean the whole thing. Whenever anybody thinks of A Kai and Tai or B Funaki, not Funaki, Val Venus, all anybody thinks of is choppy choppy pee pee. You know, literally whenever anything like that's brought up, all anybody can tell you is Mr. Yamaguchi, so they won't be able to tell you his name, but him saying, I choppy choppy your pee pee.
Hmm.
That's what everybody remembers. And then
I see.
the attack with the yeah, right. Everybody remembers that. Even if
So
you did,
this
yeah,
this small little joke didn't really, yeah, like it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't so terrible, but it hasn't bettered anybody, but it's also just like tainted the memory of all these characters with like for what was meant to be like a small little gimmicky joke.
yes, and I mean, obviously I didn't grow up in the '90s,
Mm.
so that's all I remember whenever anyone says Val Venus, choppy choppy pee pee. So like you don't even have to have watched it back then. As long as you know who Val Venus is, you know about choppy choppy pee pee. Now, whenever I say Val Venus, Sid will now go choppy choppy pee pee.
Every PP.
So, how do I rebook this?
Please,
Um,
please.
right. Well, let's read this. How do you make this better? How do I rebook this? Um, easy. I don't. Um, yeah. I just don't. Either you
Mm.
do it this way, or you don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Like
Because I think what I've essentially been trying to say is this idea could have gone so much worse in so many other ways based on all the other stuff we've talked about and reviewed. They could have done this like really, really poorly in terms I wouldn't be surprised if the conversation we were having about this was they dragged it out, as you said, or they, made it weird in some other way. Um, but as you said, they kept it short. It was just meant to be a gimmick. It wasn't a good gimmick. It's still a bad idea. So, ideally they didn't do it at all, but the way they did it, the storyline made sense.
yeah,
It didn't drag on,
no,
and by the sounds of things, crowds in the 90s, got a bit of a laugh out it. You might have even, I don't think you would have gained viewers from this, but
no,
you certainly wouldn't have lost
many.
many,
Yeah,
if any.
yeah,
I'm gonna say many just because, uh, some of your Japanese audience may not have loved this, assuming that there would have been a Japanese audience at this point, obviously,
Yeah, I suppose.
had they had that taken off and
Yeah,
merged at this point, or taken off.
yes, I believe so. I believe at this point they are worldwide,
Yeah,
but I don't know how
the J.
big it is in Japan at this point.
No,
Um,
no.
but I mean, the other thing is though is that, like I've said, you got Venis. Whenever you think of him, you think of Choppy Choppy Baby. Pretty much anybody a part of Kai and Tai, you think of the same thing. Here's why I'm saying not to rebook this. Because if you rebook it, you've got to change the entire portrayal of Kai and Tai. You've got to change Val's character, and you'd have to change it completely. Because
you're basically not doing it.
yeah, like you've got to change Kai and Tai from being a comedy group because that's what they are. You've got to change Val from being a porn star because it doesn't work if you don't change that. Like, you can't do it. You can't have something serious and a porn star gimmick. You also then, if he's not a porn star, you can't have him sleeping with Mr. Yamaguchi-san's wife. Otherwise, that's very different.
That's just weird.
So
then it's already weird, but
yeah. So then at that point,
weird for another group of reasons.
Yeah. At that point, you're just not doing it. You're doing something different anyway.
Yeah.
So
anything
and you could
try to, because we already talked about how a lot of things that are wrong with this are the insensitive parts. But if you tried to censor this, if you tried to make the Japanese aspects less racist and the pornographic elements less vulgar, then like you said, you've lost it. Like it's not there anymore.
Yeah. At that point, it loses the charm at that point.
Because ultimately it was in the 90s when
this was fine.
For right or wrong, this was the type of shit that people laughed at. This is the sort of shit that people were enjoying. Yeah.
And I mean, if you stand back and you don't look at it in any way, that's insensitive, that's not right. If you just look at it, it's not too bad. The Japanese people are doing Japanese accents, which is fine because that's just normal for them. The broken English is because they can't speak English properly because they're Japanese. Because
which again
they haven't learnt it.
You're promoting a negative stereotype, but not terribly, and it's not even the main focus of what you're doing.
No, and
the main focus is this storyline about a wife cheating on her husband, and that husband wanting to cut off the other guy's dick. Honestly, you can remove
you just change it to an American
altogether, and it's still funny.
Yeah, you can change it to an American, and it does the same thing. It just so happened that it was a Japanese person.
Because they were the characters that they were using at the time.
Yes, and yes, you can say the katana might be a bit too far, but what?
But also,
it's a katana. It's cool anyway.
I think if your Japanese character whipped out a chainsaw to cut off his dick, you'd kind of be like, why isn't it a katana?
Yeah.
You'd be confused because you're already stereotyping.
Yeah. There you go. Let's just do that. Yeah. So then, really, the only thing that's got to be changed is the fact that he's sleeping with another dude's wife, which that's a storyline anyway that you can run.
That is the storyline.
It doesn't as bad as that is. Obviously,
he can't want to cut off his dick without that happening.
Yeah, and that is, I would assume, a logical reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, your villain has to have done something evil.
Now, I will say something here. Val Venis is portrayed as the good guy. That is
Okay.
possibly something. You know, if Val was a heel, then maybe you could take this in a different direction.
Okay. Now I'm seeing. Yeah. Yep.
But it was just because the gimmick was just so over that he could never be the bad guy because everybody's there going, he's funny. He
Yeah.
talks about his dick. He calls it the Big Val Broski. He's funny. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that your good guy is sleeping with somebody's wife, and that's not a good. But also that adds
Okay.
comedy to it because and that's his gimmick
From
as well.
this, from this, I'm going to be really curious to see how anybody else, if anyone else can rebook this.
Exactly.
If anyone in our comments has a way they can rebook this without deleting the storyline, I'd be curious to hear
Yeah, I mean, just coming off the top of my head, if you rebooked it and you booked it as Kind Heart's the good guys and Val's the bad guy, um, you would have to play it seriously,
it. Dick.
and again, you either have to commit to cutting his dick off or the bad guy has to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you,
Or, being, being good guys, they wouldn't be going after his dick. They'd just be going after him for what he did.
yeah, so
Which, like you said, turns it serious. We've lost our gimmick.
yeah,
It's and now it's a storyline that's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Now it's no longer fun. It's just a
No.
storyline about a dude and another dude's wife. And I mean, it's Mr. Yamaguchi-san's a manager as well, so it's not even like he's going to get the revenge. It's going to be
No.
Kind that gets the revenge too.
Yeah.
So, and it's now 3-on-1, and the three are the good guys.
Yeah.
So then now all of a sudden your bad guy's outnumbered, and that's not right either.
No. Not
So
realistic.
yeah, I mean you've got to do it this way, I feel. Um,
Oh.
so yeah, how does not doing this story help WWF? Makes them look less racist in a way, I guess, which is
Yeah.
that's good. I would assume that's good. Um,
I generally support that, yeah.
and I don't honestly think there's anything else that not doing this story does because it's a nothing storyline that was just to get Val a story for a few weeks. All it does is rob WWE of the choppy choppy PP moment, and Val lose his biggest claim to fame. So, so Val no longer has his one thing that everyone remembers him for. WWE
Yeah.
loses a moment, and they're slightly less racist, which doesn't matter when you've got other storylines. That
Mm.
Triple H and Booker T.
Mm.
So yeah, and also Hulk Hogan somewhere, sex tape. Um, yeah.
That's
Anyway,
just that's yeah.
so
Yeah.
like I said, this was the mid-season one. I
Mhm.
thought I'd put a very fun one in.
It was fun. It
Yeah,
was fun.
yeah,
I had fun with this. It was far from our worst idea yet. Um, but it was fun to talk about.
yeah. Any opportunity to talk about Choppy Choppy PP should be taken because
Mm.
it is just a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I like to make the start, the mid, and the end of the seasons, sort of big
Mm.
ones. Like arguably Austin getting hit by a car is bigger than this, but it just feels right being the mid
Yeah.
season. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It just feels right. So yeah, we will end the season with a serious one though. It's
Hmm.
the end of the
Yes.
season is the Montreal Screwjob. I've already mentioned that. I'm pretty sure.
A number of
Um,
times.
yeah, next
But
episode I'm gonna. It's the mid season. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek at the next episode. It's the brawl for all. Oh yay! Here we go. Vince Russo is back. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow the Facebook, Twitch, and X. Links to those are in the comment section down below. And other than that, thanks for watching. Sid, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And good night.